Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is June 21st, 2018, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, starting out at 9:30 South African time out of Switzerland, Swiss National Bank monetary policy number coming out. That's followed at 10:30 with a press conference. Those are really important numbers. We'll take a look at the Swiss franc in just a moment. And then later today at 1 o'clock, official bank rate coming out of Great Britain. As well, a very important number. And then we have Bank of England Governor Carney will be speaking at 10:15 later today. Now, I'm going to make some key points today. Again, just to emphasize for those people who don't tune into our daily review, Sunday is elections in Turkey, and as such, we have made some arrangements on our leverage on the system to be changed over to 50-1 from 200-1 for your safety. So just being sure that you guys know that. Another key point, NASDAQ make all-time highs yesterday. Okay, we'll take a look at the NASDAQ and what it represents and what it's about. So let's take a look at the market to see what's been happening. So we're going to first jump into the Euro USD. As you can see, it's trading at this bottom of the range, right at this 115.56-ish level. So today's events may represent a turning point for the euro. If we do break these levels, that means that we're going to go further down, maybe even down to the 110 level. So you got to keep an eye on that. Looking at a larger time frame, okay, looking at a daily, you can see that this is really the bottom. Okay, and we're really flirting with it. So, you know, you have to take to a weekly, and the next real support level on a weekly is 1473, and we're only about 75 pips away from that. So that's not much of a gap to fill if this does fruit later today. And if we do break that 1473, well, at that point we could go back to 107, 108. So, you know, a little bit scary for the euro right now as it's being devalued versus the dollar based on some of the tariffs that's being implemented and based on some of the economic factors that are being implemented as well. So this you have to take into consideration. Now, we mentioned earlier this week that GBP USD was not trading so much, really just flirting here, and finally it broke that level at 132.29-ish level and trading at 131.45, and the next real stop level is really, or the next real support, excuse me, is 130.32. So as you can see, we're just breaking this down. So if this news from the GBP later today doesn't, you know, forward to bounce the GBP back into life a little bit, then we could see ourselves being back to this 130 level. Now, that's not the end of the world, and, you know, we're still, you know, off of our old-time lows from after the Brexit vote. However, you know, if we do continue the slide, we can, you know, continue going further down. So we're still trending downwards. I don't see that, you know, any impetus to say, hey, we're capitulating here, we're kind of consolidating. There's not, you know, a further downwards trend that we're going to continue in. We are still in a downwards trend. So, you know, your mindset should be focused around that. Now, later today, we're going to have that Swiss franc monetary policy coming from the National Bank, and it's trading right here at 99, right at the trend level, as you can see here. So the question is, if it's going to break on the high side, we could see it definitely, you know, challenge the one level. However, if it doesn't, then, you know, we'll be trading between 99.11-ish, 99.8-ish level. So that's what I would look for later today. And we're kind of getting, you know, above the RSI here. So I'd like to see, you know, if we don't break higher, this could be actually a decent short. Now, I don't like shorting the top of the moves, you know, much less probability in your favor that way. However, you know, since we did finally sell off a couple of times, you know, and we don't get that rally today, then we may see a sell-off. So just keep that in mind. Looking at the USD ZAR, a little bit of a correction here. We, you know, finally capitulated to 1390-ish level versus the dollar, and now it's just receding a little bit to 1371. Altogether, you know, there's still, you know, room for this to correct itself on the upside. So just be careful, you know, if you do decide to short it. You know, I don't see the reason to short it here, really. It may correct itself, maybe back down to the 1345-ish level, but not further than that. So, you know, I would really wait for this to trade in a new range, maybe between 35.45, 30.14-ish level, you know, to see that it's, you know, somewhere between, you know, breaking this, you know, momentum upwards, because, you know, this, if this continues going upwards, it can continue well into the 450 level. Okay, something to keep an eye on. Now, Aussie dollar, again, getting weaker versus the USD, and all-time lows for the year, 73.55. So just keep an eye on this as this continues to trade later today. Okay, it's really scary when it makes all-time lows for the year. Looking at a daily chart, as you can see here, we really corrected ourselves from earlier in the year for about 700 pips, until now. So this is really a continued downtrend, as you can see here, and I don't see it stopping. So, across the board, you see that the dollar is getting stronger, okay, and that may affect the U.S. economy. It's all these, economic wars that countries are, having in order to either, make their currency or other currencies more expensive or their currency more cheaper for, trade to actually happen. So take a look at that as well. USD CAD, again, also getting much weaker versus the dollar, trading at 133. If we're looking at a weekly chart, this is a major chart. So again, new lows for the year for the CAD versus the dollar. So if we continue this upwards momentum, definitely hit 135. That is my number for the next stop for the CAD. Now, that might not happen this month or July, but may well happen in August and September as we continue to trade. Now, I mentioned the USD Turkish Lira, and as you can see, it's trading a 475-ish level, okay? Still at the top of this really tight range. Not much going on, but it's quiet before the storm, as we mentioned, so just keep aware of it. All right, looking at gold breaking down at 1264, no sort of support level at 1270, and sure enough we broke further down. Now this, I've been mentioning that I am biased on the downside on gold. We kind of discussed it yesterday in the webinar. I really feel that gold should maybe be in the low 1200s, and I think we will hit that as the summer continues trading. Now jumping into the Dow Jones, we really had a really rocky road in the Dow Jones the past couple of months. I mean, and this is really on the back of, our correctional move from 26,600. We made a rally to 25,396 last week, and we're giving that all back this week, and we're just flirting with our support level right here at 24,670. Now, if you're looking at the equities market in the United States, and we're going to jump into the NASDAQ as it's made all-time highs, okay, for the NASDAQ, record highs on the NASDAQ. So there's a little bit of a disbalance with the entire economy moving in one direction. Okay, so what this means is that since the New York Stock Exchange, which is mainly the Dow components, reflect the greater part of the economy. They reflect healthcare, banks, all types of companies in the market. However, the NASDAQ, if we'll take a look at it, represent all the high-tech companies. We're looking at a 15-minute chart, but just to give you an idea, this is a daily chart. Okay, and as you can see, we're at all-time highs for the year. Even when we sold off, right, earlier this year, we didn't sell off like the Dow Jones did, and we broke this upper level at 71.79 earlier this month, and sure enough, we're at all-time highs. Now, this is inconsistency. Is trading with consistency, let's say it more clearly, with Facebook. Facebook made all-time highs, and we mentioned this yesterday. If it was going to break this 198 to 200, it's going to go further, and sure enough it did, and breaking out on the high side. So the NASDAQ has most of the internet or computer components, all the high-tech companies that are represented in the NASDAQ. So the fact that it's breaking out higher is very consistent with what's happening in the market. Okay, if we look at the Russell 2000 also making all-time highs, so if you're not making money in some of the other components like the Forex symbols or the commodities, this is when you're looking to really shift into other indices that are really making money. Okay, so NASDAQ and Facebook are two examples of what's been happening in the markets. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.